Today we're going to take the MSR Guardian water filtration system and we're going to do the maintenance on it. Your Guardian Purifier annual maintenance kit comes with a pressure relief assembly, a relief valve O-ring, the piston O-ring, the end nut O-ring, piston cup seal, the umbrella valve, the clean side cover seal, and MSR food grade silicone lubricant. So before I disconnect the hose, what I do is I just find a container. This is the pre-filter, and I just put the pre-filter in there. And then I'm going to pull the hose out here and put the end of the hose in there. So just as a side note that I've learned, sometimes get a little hole up in either this tube or up in this tube from flexing and stuff like that when you're putting it on and taking it off. One thing you can do is if you do get a hole up here, you can just take this little coil spring off, and then you can just evenly cut the hose down and then just take your fingers and then split it. This is very easy to split right there. I'm gonna put it back on. One of the first things we're going to do is take the handle off, and to do that, there's the handle sleeve. You'll notice here it's just flat, and then on the other side you'll notice that there's these two little half moons there. What you do is you just take your fingernail, and it's real simple, just pinch those together and it pops off on the other side, and then you just pull that out, and then you can take this little pin and just push the sleeve out the other side, and then it's gonna release the handle. So this right here is what we're gonna take off is the pin and the pin clip. So the pin clip is this red thing here, and you'll see on the other side, this is where the pin's gonna come out. And then you can just very carefully just take your finger so that unclip that, and then you just pull this out and your handle falls off. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the piston nut off. If you're doing this for the first time, it might be a little difficult to break the seal. It unscrews and comes right out. So this is the piston cavity. We'll set that aside. So this is the piston, this gray part here. This is the piston. And then you're going to pull that off. So the nut here has a gasket. It has two gaskets, and it's kind of tricky because sometimes you might miss where the inner one is, and it's right on the inside right here. That's the big fat round gasket right there. The other gasket's on the outer side right over here. So inside the piston cavity, which is all this area in here, there's an umbrella valve right there. And that is really simple. All you have to do is just take your finger, get in there and just push, and that'll pop right out. When you get the umbrella valve out, that's what it looks like. There's a little nipple here, and that nipple goes in the center hole when you put it back in. So what I do is just take a little bit of the silicone, just get in there with the finger, and just a light coat. It doesn't have to be thick, and just all around there. So inside this component, it's kind of hidden. You really got to look for it. Get yourself a tool or something like this. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to get in there and angle it down and just kind of lift it up like this. And the instructions, it's not that clear where it goes. And when you're actually looking at this, it's kind of like, where does it go, man? I'm not sure where it goes. Well, it's down in here. Be sure to put your silicone lube on this and then pop it back in there. This is the cup seal gasket for the piston. You'll see there that it's hollow on one side and it's solid on the other side, so that when we're putting it back in, that here is the gasket itself on the inside of the housing. So when it goes in, it's going to be sitting oriented so that the hollow portion right here is in the direction of the handle, and the solid portion is in the direction of this side of the housing. Okay, one of the first things you want to do is you want to make sure you put the umbrella gasket back in there. So you can just pop that in there, move it around a little bit, and that goes right back in. That's what it looks like. So now we're going to take this and we're going to put it back into the piston cavity. The piston cavity is this little area right in here, and we're going to thread it back in there. Just remember to make sure that you have your cup seal in the proper position up here. You've got it lubricated with the silicone, and then you have your in nut O-ring and also the piston O-ring secured and in place with the silicone. And then what you got to do, get a good thread going, and then clockwise. And when you get to the end, it's going to be tight, you know, like snug, and you're going to think that it's tight. But I found that once you get to the end, like right there, it can go just a little bit more, okay? And there you have it. Then we're going to take the handle pin sleeve in the pin. So here's the pin sleeve, and here's the pin. And we're just going to get this oriented just right. Doesn't matter which way you have it. And as far as the direction is, you know, how you put the sleeve in, and then push that and make sure that that is seated where it's, you know, flush, and then that the pin on the other end, make sure these guys have actually clicked in. So you have that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put in the little pin down here. So the pin in the pin clip, you want to put that in next, just like that, and push it through. So you got the pin through, and then, so when you get it from the factory, they have the plastic part here for the clip. It's hanging over the top portion of this section of the handle. And then just take it and push the clip down there on the other side. There's a place where it clips in. And so now you have your handle. It's all back in. What you're looking at here is my old relief valve. And you get the whole unit, so you get a whole unit, and you're going to get another gasket. And all you have to do is just put some silicone all the way around on that gasket, and then you'll see here that there is an arrow, okay? And in the instructions it says, once you put it in, you turn it a third of the way right in that area down there, so the arrow comes down and it lines up exactly where this little emblem is that says lock. On the bottom, the clean side cover seal right here, there is a round gasket here that you're going to take out, and then you're also going to lube it a little bit with some silicone and then put it back in. On the clean side cover seal, to get this little seal out, there's a little rectangle you'll find around the corner of this. There's a little opening, and it allows you to put something in here so that you can lift it out. Now, if I just found an old bobby pin and just popped it in there, and then as you can see, I can slowly just start wedging that out. And I got it out, and you can see right there, there's that little divot, that little area where you can put something in there to get this thing out of the cover there. And before you put it back in, all you have to do is just take some lubricant and put some lubricant just on the sides, okay? You don't have to put it on the top. And now that we have the clean side cover seal in there, all you do is put it right back into the housing, snug that up, and we put our hose back on. We're all good to go. The other thing we need to do is we need to flush some water through here, clean water. So you want to keep the filter moist. If the filter goes dry, your system's not going to work. So I'm cleaning the hose on my Guardian, MSR Guardian, and what I did is I took a pair of tent line right here, and I made sure that I took a lighter and melted this one in just to make it real stiff. So what I did is I just took it and I fed it through the portion right here, not the big one yet, but the small one, and I used Dawn soap and I fed it through, and it took me a little while, but I used gravity to feed it in. So when I say gravity, what I do is I held it up as high as I could, just twist and turn, and push it in, and then over time it'll get through. So then now that I have it through, then I'm just pull each end back and forth and twist it around to clean the inside. And here's a bucket of warm water with Dawn in it, and it'll work. When you do the larger hose, it's going to be a lot easier. The tent line here actually will curl up into a coil, which really helps because it's going to be cleaning the inner lumen of that. And so basically I go all the way down as far as I can, and that's what tubes look like. I was getting water out of the Colorado River down in Moab, and we'll see how it turns out. So after doing my repairs, the area that I was having a drip was coming from this area right here. And so after I put some more goop, some silicone on the gasket on the inside, then now I'm not getting any water whatsoever coming out of here. So it's all back together and it's working well.